Hello there, everybody. I'm not on camera, so you know what time it is. This is a full moon in Sagittarius pick a card reading for you all. If you are new to my pick a card readings, twice a month I check in with you all and do a pick a card reading for the new moon and the full moon. So this is an opportunity for you to get, this is a more spiritual reading. I know most of you may be more familiar with me with political readings, but this one is spiritual. This is when I check in spiritually. And I will say, I'm giving you all a heads up. I may turn this into a reading for members only, not because I'm trying to, force people to enter my membership, although there is a link to that below, and my starting tier is as low as $2.99 a month, you all. But my reason for that is I do feel that these readings are separate and apart, and very distinct from what I typically do for the public with my political readings. So I'm thinking of ways to kind of separate those out and make them more accessible. And I have a separate playlist for my members' readings. So this may become a bonus offering for members only. I'm just putting that out there. Again, my pricing tiers are very reasonable. The lowest one is $2.99 a month if you're interested. And so I'm in prayer about it, but I'm seriously considering doing that just so that they don't get jumbled up within the political readings. I'm getting a feel that I need to separate them out. And because my membership tends to enjoy the spiritual aspect of my readings and teachings as well as the political. So kind of makes sense to do that. So just think about that. Meanwhile, let's go in. Again, if you're new to this, my process is I typically have a gemstone that I'll show you and a catalyst card. Kind of pings your intuition, kind of see what pulls you, what you feel drawn to. Many people feel drawn to more than one pile. There's no right or wrong. Just either way, I bet you anything you're going to get some messages, okay? So let's go on in. And I don't see these cards, by the way. I should mention that. I do not see, other than the Catalyst card, I don't see what's underneath here. I read from multiple decks. I will share the decks with you, and I will do a timestamp at the end of the taping. So for those of you who are readers and enjoy, using decks, collecting decks, you'll get that information as well. All right, you all. Full moon in Sagittarius. Thinking about the bigger picture, Sagittarius, a beautifully optimistic, typically optimistic fire sign, right? Ruled by Jupiter. Expansion, growth, philosophy, knowledge, your spiritual studies. And I also understand that this is happening during a fire grand trine. I saw something to that effect. So there's some things happening with not only this full moon in Sagittarius, but there's things happening with Leo, and and Aries. Both of those signs are highly activated during this full moon. So you're talking about fire. What vitality, creativity, sparks of inspiration, energy, pushing through, feeling expansive. All of that energy could be what you're feeling right now, even in a moon. During the time of a full moon, when we tend to think of that more as emotional stuff and psychic stuff, but it could be those psychic things that are pulling in. Remember, the moon magnetizes, right? So it could be the psychic things that your soul, that your guides are pulling in around what ignites you, around the fire, your passion, your purpose, your desire, your motivation, your inspiration. So all that said, let's go in. I've got pile number 1, 2, and 3. I'll share the catalyst card and the gemstone and see if you're drawn to that. For those of you drawn to pile number 1, the catalyst that I pulled is protection. And it is, interestingly, talking about this fire, this is the moon in Aries, although this moon is in Sagittarius, but that Aries, I've been reading about this grand trine that's happening. So that's there. And the gemstone that came with it, if you're interested, if that pulls you or helps you decide, is a rutilated quartz. All right, rutilated quartz with protection for pile number 1. Pile number 2, piece of serpentine that came with flirtation. All right now. And here we go with another. Here we go in Sagittarius. This is, what is that? Venus. Venus in Sagittarius. All right. And if I'm not mistaken, serpentine is a stone that can sometimes have to do with the, love and the libido and all that kind of stuff. So Check that out if you're drawn to that. The Serpentine, pile number 2 with Flirtation. And finally, we have a Chevron Amethyst for pile number 3 with your catalyst is Influence. And that is Mercury in Libra. Notice the 7th house, relationships. Mercury in Libra, influence with this chevron. All right? Okay. So take a moment. Let your intuition ping you. Protection, flirtation, influence. All right? And we're going to get ready to go in. Let's move these to the side. And let's go in. All right. For those of you who chose the rutilated quartz with protection, let's see what Spirit has for you. What is your message? What you need to know? What's happening around this full moon in Sagittarius for you? We have the Two of Pentacles, partnerships, decisions, balance, balancing finances. The Four of Pentacles. All right. Again, balancing, making decisions around abundance, abundance of relationships, abundance of what you are planning to do work related, especially with this protection in Aries. Aries being very involved with self-motivation and protecting your assets, protecting the work that you do, protecting what you have. We have the Ace of Swords. Oh, wow. We got 2 aces. And if you read with me, you're with me, you know I get really thrilled when Spirit gives me aces. Aces are potential. They are beginnings. They are, and this is coming in cups, beginnings of what could make you very happy. Flow of abundance, looking at this pentacles, flow of abundance coming your way, and the clarity of decisions that you make and actions that you're prepared to take to facilitate that flow. All right? Protection. You're ready to start again. Some of you contemplating and making some decisions around your material well-being and around your partnerships and maintaining balance in those partnerships, especially with that cups. Let's see what comes. Now I get to your oracles. In the hand, the universe is your partner. Okay, I'm loving that because we just talked about relationships or partnerships in that Two of Pentacles. And so the universe is coming in and giving you a hand and saying, I am here for you. You know, we are in this partnership together. Let me move those up a little bit. We are in this partnership together. And it could be because the Four of Pentacles can indicate some caution around your finances, around what makes you stable. If you hear some noise in the background, I'm sorry about that. I just realized I should have waited until my washer stopped before I started taping, but that it'll go off in just a second. So I apologize for that. Bear with me. Okay. I completely surrender to my path. That's why you have these 2 aces. Remember, aces having to do with beginnings and there's protection. Spirit really wants you to know the universe is your partner. There's something that you may be considering going in a new direction, starting something in a new way, asking for new opportunities to grow your finances, your relationships, your business, your security. And Spirit is saying surrender to your path, that has a lot to do with it. Oh, check it out. And if you don't know, if you're new to me, like I use all different decks when you see these oracle cards start coming. Each one is a different deck. So I love the way Spirit builds on its message, because how would I know? How would any of us know? So you've got some planning there. Surrender to your path, planning for something that, pile number 1, you've got some things on the horizon. This, remember too, going back to Sagittarius, full moon in Sagittarius, you're wanting to grow. You're wanting to go in a new direction, being very wanting to study philosophy, different ways of living, different cultures, wanting to travel, wanting to expand your horizons. And there's some planning that you're doing around that. Okay, there's that little, if you hear the ding in the background, that's it. The washing machine is done. Thank you for that. I'm sorry. I should have turned that off or waited until it finished. You also have faith. Hmm. Faith, pile number one. You were drawn to protection. You were drawn to protection. And you've got this opportunity to do something new that could bring you in more money, more of a sense of security. This does feel business oriented just because of the fact that we have that moon in Aries, and Aries handles its business. Aries says, I'm ready to move forward, but I want to make sure that I'm okay. So there's this planning that you're doing, and it is going to take a bit of a leap of faith, perhaps, pile number one. There's these new beginnings and all of this potential. I completely surrender to my path, but it is going to take faith in being able to do it, and being and in your ability to receive what apparently spirit has for you. It's saying in the hand, we're ready to hand it to you. We're ready, literally, like lift out your, put out your hands. We're ready to give it to you. You have wisdom that comes. All right, if that thing dings one more time, I'm going to go yank it off myself. Normally it stops after a couple of times. And maybe I'm hearing it louder than you all are on my end. This mic can be sometimes sensitive, but we'll see what happens. I'll give it another second. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go, pardon me for 1 second. Let me get rid of it. All right, done. Handled. I feel like Olivia with Scandal, right? Handled. All right. Wisdom. I'm going to hold this up. Notice all those lotus flowers. Notice her posture at the base of that tree with the owl, which is your spirit guides, your spirit team, giving you this wisdom while you are planning your next steps. Pile number one, if you were drawn here, you're ready to move on. You could also, for some of you, could be in a situation where you're feeling a little tentative around your finances. It could be you're making a financial move, a job move, a physical move in your home, any number of things that would have you feeling a little like, okay, spirit, you got my back, right? And they show up. Your guides show up right here. The universe is your partner. They're showing up to say, yes, we have your back. That's why it's okay for you to completely surrender to your path. And notice, even in this image, there's that partnership, right? That spirit is there to partner with you. There's this planning that you're doing, and there's wisdom that's being offered to you during this full moon to receive, so you can make clear decisions and be prepared to take clear and decisive action, not just based on emotional desires, that Ace of Cups, but also being very rational and logical about it. We have, let's keep going. I cannot wait to see what else is here. Clear your mind. All right, now, it comes in Gemini. Clear your mind. There's some overthinkers among you. Easy to do. I get it. I would have to pull out a mirror myself on some days, but this is in Gemini. Remember, going back to that Ace of Swords, and this wisdom that's here for you. Pile number one, you have an ability to make the right choices. You just got to take time to plan. For you, it's not about doing anything rash. And this is not a time, your guides are saying, this is not a time to haul off and just, pull the covers off everything and just go for something that typically you wouldn't do. This does require planning. Your next move does require planning, but it doesn't mean stay so long in the planning phase that you kind of become immobilized, or you become fearful or stagnant. That's where your faith, like this even reminds, for those of us into tarot, this reminds so much of the Fool card, right? Just taking that, literally taking that leap of faith, because you are protected. There's healing the heart. Okay, now we're getting to the root of it. Healing the heart. This is moving from plan A to plan B for many of you. And it is in, I get it, protecting your heart. Because whatever this is that you really want to do, this newness that's coming your way, moving on from a relationship, a job, maybe even a death in the family or a pet or something, some sort of life change that is requiring you to get really clear, really calm, and know that you have the wisdom to make the right choices. No self-doubt, no feeling vulnerable. And that's why protection, there's some vulnerability there. But in the healing, completely surrender to my path. In the healing, pile number 1 is where your clarity comes in. If that makes sense, this is an active thing. This is you setting upon a decision to do something different, utilizing the wisdom that you've gained, and knowing that you are protected. It's okay to open your heart again. And in taking the risk, leap of faith, in taking the risk to open your heart again, to take that job offer, to have that new relationship, to trust and allow yourself to build new friendships or to strengthen existing ones where there may have been a bumpy road, or family relationships, any of those things. Remember, full moon in Sagittarius, it is that optimism. It is that growth. It is that search for deeper meaning. And for you all, it's coming through your heart center, your heart chakra. You are being broken open, pile number 1. And notice, oh my gosh, notice, where is that in the heart? Right there in the center of the heart. Let me hold those 2 images up together. Again, oh, and I almost said different decks, but I just remembered your pile was the one pile where 2 cards in this deck stuck together. And now I see why, because look how complementary they are. That heart, healing the heart, and then being broken open. Oh my gosh, Spirit knew what it was doing. And I almost picked one of these back up. I was like, oh man, I typically just do 1 from each deck. And Spirit was like, no, I put 2 there for a reason. And I just left it. All right. So there is so much activation around your heart chakra during this grand fire trine and during this full moon in Sagittarius. And you are protected. Your heart and your heart's ability to continue to love, continue to search for, and take that leap of faith to do this new thing that's clearly calling you. The planning that for some of you, this is something as real and realistic as a vacation that you want to take, a trip that you want to take. Remember, full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius loves to travel, loves philosophy, loves bigger world view, loves, exploring other cultures and meeting new people and trying new things and being very expansive, ruled by Jupiter. You've got a shame, a painful feeling of self-reproach, feeling deserving of humiliation or excessive criticism based on perceived inadequacy or actions, loss of dignity in oneself. That's why that heart chakra is speaking up. Some of you, this may not apply to everybody, but some of you, if you chose this pile, this protection and this wisdom that you've gained, and how it is impacting your ability to open up, because 4 Pentacles can be where you have sufficient resources, you have decent relationships, you have a certain degree of stability. It's not about hard times, but it's about not trusting that you can get more. It's almost like it's a tight-fisted, it's holding, when the universe is saying, open your hand up, open your, but it's this, because if I don't, something else might get taken from me. And there's a little shame coming up here, because you could be a little self-recrimination, feeling like you should have known better, tying into that wisdom, feeling like you should have known better, um, being confident in yourself. And Sagittarius again with that optimism, that just natural native optimism. So Spirit is saying, let go of that, because the universe is your partner. There's purify that comes for you. So there's something here where part of your planning, pile number one, could have to do with literally cleaning your home, doing some spring cleaning, you know, planning what planning for your future by reorganizing and revamping what exists around you, whether that is how you are approaching your lifestyle, how you are approaching your work in the world, your purpose, how you operate day to day. There's something that it needs to get cleaned up. And that's where some of the shame is as well. For some of you, I feel like there might have been some procrastination. You knew that you needed to do certain things, or you knew this person was a certain way, or the job, was a certain way, the risks, whatever. It's like you knew it, and because you didn't act on it, or act on it in time, that notice that self-reproach that we got there, right? But really, it's past that now. Remember how your reading started out with this potential coming in, Ace of Cups and Ace of Swords. Spirit is like, time to wipe the slate clean. Clean up the psychic debris as well as physical debris that may be around you. And that's your planning stage, because I just looked down. Fertility, you all. Fertility. New, ready to come in. Fertility. And it says here, it's time to think about family, life, and children. Don't sacrifice family for career. Now, symbolically, that could extend beyond what we typically think of family. For many of us, our friend groups, our friend tribe, our chosen family, our chosen folk. But to put that on into your priority, because that offers protection. That is where your heart can feel safe. That's where you can be okay to surrender to your path, is through these connections with family, putting that first and foremost. And that is what actually helps you grow in business, in your finances, in your stability. Letting the people who really love you, and having faith in those people, including your spirit team, to have your back, to protect you. We have a distraction that comes up. Why not? And notice that it comes up in Cancer. Cancer very often having to do with family and family, relationships, and feeling protected and feeling provided for. So this distraction, clear your mind. Because I was led to pull that card back out. Clear your mind, because there are distractions around you. And whether it is that you lead a really busy life, or you feel responsible for people, you're the type of person that, when somebody has a call for help or assistance, you're that one that goes, oh my gosh, I already got so much going on, but you still step up and take it on, right? Sound familiar? That's what this distraction is about. And so Spirit is saying, to know is to be prepared. Where's your planning? To know is to be prepared and say, okay, I am planning that when these distractions come up, I know to keep my mind clear and focused on what I want to do next, on having faith in being able to move forward. There's definitely a clean the slate. The more I'm looking at all these taken together, pile number one, this is a reset time. This full moon in Sagittarius is probably going to inspire you to really hit some sort of reset in your life. And it has to do with how you balance your relationships, your job, putting family first, putting yourself first in the context of family, rather than giving your all to a job or to something that takes a lot of your energy, but the payback doesn't feel as, as worthwhile. And finally, I always try to pull a crystal that will help you, but you didn't get a crystal so much, you got a message, and it says sculptor, attention, creation, persistence. Because you are creating or taking a turn at this time. This full moon in Sagittarius for you is like, what do you want it to look like? And that's why in the hand, the universe is your partner. Two of Pentacles, partnership and balance. Having faith that the universe has your back, but also there are people who have your back. And perhaps because of the heart issues and feeling like you need to be protected. Also, some of you might be the sign of Cancer. I'm being led to that as well, with that distraction, Cancer, and this message around family, because that could be, Cancer is an extremely protective energy, protecting home, protecting family, protecting what's yours. You could have expended so much energy. Some of you could be caregivers even for an elderly parent or a dog who's getting older, or even caregiving could be your profession. You could be in the healing arts and you're pouring so much of yourself into that Spirit is saying, hey, wait a minute. It's time to surrender to your path and to plan for your future and to take that leap of faith, because there is all this newness waiting for you. Clean up your act. Not in a negative or reprimanding kind of way. Never. That Spirit doesn't speak in those terms. But unless something's really drastic. But this is more like, look, clean it up, hit the reset, and allow yourself to get wrapped up and really being loved by and loving up on your those who give you the support, and it feels very protective to you. And all your roads forward are really through your heart center. Check your heart chakra. If it's out of whack a little bit, that's the cleansing, right? Do some cleansing breaths, meditations, etc. And that's going to be what really takes you to the next level. All right, pile number 1. Next, we're going to move on. I hope that was helpful. I'd love to hear from you if you chose that pile. Next, pile number 2, those of you who were drawn to the Serpentine and the Flirtation. All right, let's see what's going on with you in this full moon in Sagittarius. The fire sign. We have the moon who comes right out. All right, now. This is going to be automatically, I can see this is going to be a really powerful moon energy for you. Attraction. Feeling very being very magnetic and magnetizing. A flirtation, perhaps. All right. And this is Venus in Sagittarius, and this is a full moon in Sagittarius. So this is expansion. Ready to move out, ready to date, ready to spice up if you're in an existing relationship, ready to shift it around a little bit. We have the 10 of Pentacles. How you are, I feel like this is physical, your physical body, your ability to invest in your relationships, in love, in what makes you like luxury. That's what I just got there. It's like luxury. It's okay for a little pampering, a little luxury. You've got the 4 of Wands, which many readers do interpret this as a marriage card or commitment card. Very interesting in the context of that flirtation, you all. And the 4 of Cups. What do you really want? Some self-assessment there. And notice you got 2 4s back to back in Cups and Wands. Fire being the operative element right now, right? This full moon in Sagittarius, fire sign, and a grand trine in fire from what I read and understand. So we got some Leo in the mix and Aries in the mix as well. A lot of very motivational energy here. But there's something here. I feel like Four of Cups can sometimes be a little bored, a little ho hum. I could, but maybe not. There's a commit to it. Know what it is that you are bringing in, what you are attracting, what you really desire with that magnetic moon energy, and commit to it. Don't ho hum. Like, hone in on it and be ready to go. You've got the cosmic womb, the divine feminine, pile number 2. The cosmic womb. The womb does what? The womb births. It gives birth. There's something on the horizon for you all that's very loving, that's pulling it in. And there's a timing element here, because in the womb says it's in the works. And the moon is saying, spend some time to dream it, to picture it, spend some time investing in it. There's, I feel safe and grounded. That's a compliment to that Four of Cups energy. Because the Four of Cups, again, it can be, I'm happy, but, I could do this. However, it's a little waffling emotionally, but by feeling safe and grounded, you're ready to go out and flirt. You're ready to show up. Remember, Sagittarius is optimistic, it's adventurous, it can be the life of the party, it's conversational, it's witty, it takes chances, it goes out and explores. And to do that, for you all to do that, you do need to feel safe. Like, you don't want to just be haphazard about it. You need to have a made up mind. The cosmic womb, like giving birth to that part of yourself that's ready to get out there and play again. You've got life force energy. All right, now, life force energy. Talk about Sagittarius and ruled by Jupiter. If that's not life force energy, I don't know what is. And life force energy coming out of the cosmic womb. What are you creating? What are you giving birth to? What are you prepared, Spirit is saying? What are you really prepared to see it through once it comes into fruition? Because remember, Four of Wands is a card of marriage, meaning, if it's not literal marriage, but also meaning committing to something, committing to a way of life, committing to your spiritual path, committing to your relationships, committing to your good health. Pentacles can also be around health and the body. So are you really ready to commit to what it is that you are creating through this life force energy? Because guess what's ready for you? Oh my goodness, I love this card. Joy. Joy, pile number 2. Like, party, laugh, feeling good from your head to your toes. That Sagittarius optimism, Jupiter, the world is mine and I'm here for it. I'm about to go out and explore it and feel safe and grounded while I'm doing it. It's okay to let my hair down, throw my head back, and laugh and shimmy and reach out and see what comes my way. It's okay. This is a literal flirtation, and it's also a flirtation with life. This is a flirtation with your guides. All right? And look, you have the moon that has come again. You started out in the tarot with the moon, and now you have the moon that's come for you in an oracle. Definitely this, like, for real, pile number 2, sit for a minute, sit with yourself, sit with your journal, put your thinking caps on, and open your heart and open your imagination to what could be, because there is a lot of magnetic energy around you right now. That flirtation, Venus in Sagittarius. Being ready to go out and find and explore Venus. What makes you feel good? Venus, what, not just love, romantic love, but what you love. The arts, music, going to concerts, dancing, being around joyful situations. Maybe you are the spark of what starts that joyful situation. And ooh, you got the full moon in Scorpio. Breathe through the tension. And notice Scorpio, again, a very passionate sign, a sign that is very, very deeply connected to intimacy. Breathe through the tension. Because some of you love so deeply. Wow. Some of you love so deeply that flirtation could be even a little difficult for you. You know, it's almost like I'm all in or I ain't in at all, right? One or the other. But there's the spirit is saying, lighten that up a little bit. I think that's why you're getting the Scorpio energy. Lighten that up. Notice the contrast between those two messages, right? Lighten it up right now, pile number 2. Like think about it. Even if it is a dating or romance situation, even if you just went on a series of dates and none of them really turned out to be the one, but hey, you've had a series of great energizing times. And meanwhile, you're building your life force energy. You're building your essence. You're building your energy and your vitality, right? That cosmic womb. You have awakening genius. All right, now, who are you becoming? Who are you becoming, pile number 2? Awakening genius with this life force energy, the cosmic womb, what you are attracting through not the moon coming for you not once but twice, what you are ready to see. This also could be a flirtation with, meaning a flirtation with different realms of study. You know, a flirtation, like flirting with the idea of being a shaman, flirting with the idea of being a writer, flirting with the idea of being a lover, flirting with the idea of being a business owner, flirting with the idea of moving or buying your first home or taking a trip. That's this awakening genius that's happening inside of you, and dreaming your dreams. How can we talk about the moon without talking about dreaming, right? Dreaming your dreams, pile number 2. Like that's too could be a flirtation. Flirting with the potential and the possibilities of what you want to do that brings you joy, what you're ready to commit to, what's available to you. Now you have a disconnection that comes here, and it says a break in connection or no communication or separation. Now, if you have been a little isolated, and I'm drawn to this card that comes with it: spendthrift, waste, debt, or gambling. So if you've been pulling back a little bit or been in a stage of hold your horses and feeling a little disconnected because maybe you have gone too far in the past. You know, earlier Spirit was saying either you're all in or you're all out. You're somebody who loves so deeply. That Scorpio energy came up for you. You love so deeply that if it doesn't go your way, some of you have just said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to sit right here. I'm just not even going to do it right now. But in doing that, how have you been? Have you been overcompensating in some other ways? Have you been perhaps, doing some overspending or just how you are treating your security because of maybe not having the kind of relationship or joy in your life that you so deserve. All right? There's partnership. Whoa, okay. Spirit is totally speaking on some sort of connection going on here for you all. There's a partnership. And the partnership, it says, joining forces with business partners for win-win cooperation. Prioritize your connections. Notice, boom, direct movement from one state of being to another with that disconnection. Flirtation, getting out, networking, putting yourself back out there. Awakening genius, really showing up. Pile number 2, you've got a lot to offer. And I'm not just blowing smoke with that. I'm looking at this life force energy that comes with this cosmic womb, like all of this germination, your dreams, like all of this that's ready to bloom and blossom for you. And there you go with that awakening genius. And it has to do with some form of partnership. And it could be that it is in a romantic context, or here, this is a business deck. It could be in the context of business. But you gotta see past that disconnection. You have dynamism here. Talk about the healing, falling eagle. I'm sorry, with dynamism. Dynamism, life force energy, like breaking open. Boom, breaking open. And in doing that, you see your dreams. You see clearer what you're being pulled to. There's just a lot of magnetic energy in both of those moon cards, and they lead you to joy. They lead you beyond this state of 4 of cups. Again, we talked about that, where it can be, I'm okay, but it could be better. It leads you past any sense of, I'll just, I shouldn't try this because I don't want to waste more time or money or effort. But there's so much dynamic energy that's coming your way, that's available to you right now, pile number 2. And breathe through the tension. Breathe, literally doing some breath work, doing some meditation, doing some journaling, doing some exercising, doing some dancing, doing some getting out to a concert or a festival, or just going outdoors, getting involved in life force energy. I keep going back to that. The cosmic womb, like getting around creative people, getting in spaces where you see people's dreams come to life, and therefore it inspires you to go ahead and flirt with your own dream and your own potential. That's what Spirit wants for you right now, and is bringing your way through this full moon in Sagittarius. All right, pile number 2. I hope that resonated. There's so much on the horizon for you, and it's almost like that cosmic womb keeps coming back, like bursting forth, like really taking shape, and you don't see it yet, but the more you allow yourself to just kind of dream that dream, all that moon energy, and attract it. Remember, the moon pulls it in, right? The ebb and flow of the ocean tides, like going with the flow of life. Man, are you on the verge of something really, really good and juicy, because you were drawn to that flirtation. All right, going on now, finally, the last pile, last but never least, pile number 3, those of you who were drawn to this chevron, and your catalyst is influence. Let's see what that's all about for you. Take a sip of water. We have the 5 of Swords. We got a lot going on in the mental area, right? A lot of thoughts going on. And with Justice, trying to make a decision, trying to do what's right, balancing things out. I love, because Justice is ruled by Libra. Many of you may know, who read tarot may know that. And we do have Mercury in Libra that is coming in the 7th house in your catalyst card with influence. So this is things that are happening, conversations that you're having, what you are taking in, absorbing, reading, thinking, scrolling on social media, things that are influencing your decisions about something. Let's keep going. 9 of Cups. What do you really want? Right? Very often we know it's called the wish card. What is influencing your decisions around what you want? Because look, 5 of Cups. Is there and notice let me do it this way, because We know those doggone fives in the minor arcana. They are, we gotta get them. They're necessary because we work through them. They're never there to stay, but they do highlight a struggle. So we've got an emotional struggle here, and we've got a mental communication struggle here. On the one side, and and notice they both come in air. Justice again ruled by Libra, which is an air sign. Five of Swords, air. So we've got water, two water, emotions, Nine of Cups, or flow of things, how things flow, Nine of Cups with the Five of Cups. So what you really want, but not having known disappointment or being influenced by previous disappointment, what you are prepared to do, and finding a balance and striking a balance and making a choice, but also taking in too many other people's opinions, or even you thinking about it in so many different ways that it becomes hard to get clear about what you really want. I can't wait to keep going for you. We have the Wailing Tree, reconciliations. If you are having a tough time in a relationship right now, whether that is a professional relationship or personal relationship, that Mercury in Libra, this is all about communication for you. Five of Swords, getting really clear about what you are communicating emotionally, what you're transmitting to yourself and to others emotionally, and a reconciliation maybe. I feel like, because the Wailing Tree is not necessarily that you got to go face off with somebody or talk to others to hammer this out. This is spiritual help that's available to you. This is you going to your guides, your ancestors, your support systems. If it is, we all have our hopefully we have and desire our people that we can go to and vent and just completely be ourselves, whether we're falling apart or whether we got our act together. It's okay to go there. And that's something that you need right now, pile number 3. You have the waters of creativity and sensuality flow within my hara or aura. Libra, relationships, flowing, sensuality, and creativity. For some of you, if the relationship sector is really tough, or if because of a previous heartache or heartbreak, it's hard, it's really different. It's that the past continues to influence your ability to make decisions about what you want going forward. That's what this is speaking to. There's this flow that Spirit wants to bring your way. Notice this is in water, and you have this Nine of Cups and that Five of Cups. So there's this flow in your aura that wants to be released, and it gets released because you are able to reconcile. Reconciliations, you're able to reconcile your past with your present so that you can begin to move towards the future. There's a rebalancing that needs to happen for some of you. And check it out. You get, lo and behold, if the next card is not patience. It takes a while. And I got to go ahead and pull this because you have a voyage that comes. That is your journey right now. It is a journey of adapting to getting out of your head. Five of Swords, getting out of if you are under the influence of too many other people's opinions, thoughts, dabbling in too many different ways of processing what's happened in your relationships. I go back to that because of that Justice and Libra, your relationships, but also if this is on the business side of things, because it could be, then it's reconciling what has happened with what could happen. And it is patience, really, really honoring patience as a virtue. and allowing yourself to go on this voyage to discovering more about what you really and truly want. And there's something that happens for you between now, this full moon in Sagittarius, and the next new moon. I don't even know what the next new moon is in, but there's a time frame here that Spirit is giving you all, pile number 3. There's something that comes, and look, I just looked down and I saw a new moon in Virgo. I'm going to trip out if the next new moon really is in Virgo. But more importantly is the message that you're getting there. And it says, trust, all will be well. Now, you just had that patience that came, and you just had that voyage that came. So this is definitely a timing thing for you all, pile number 3. Spirit is saying that you are, and again, thinking about the expansiveness of Sagittarius, right? Ruled by, loves to travel, loves to explore, loves to study philosophy and cultures and ideas and spirituality and love and the arts and all of those things. That's your voyage right now. And it's trust that all will be well, because you're setting your intention for what you really want. For what you really want. Not what everybody else is saying is good for you. Not just, again, going back to this influence. Not just what typically has, well, this, every time I try this, this is what happens. Those sort of repeated conversations that we can have with ourselves. But look at this. You have sacred reverence. That's part of this process. And notice even I'm looking at the color patterns there, how well they go together. All right? This is actually a beautiful time for you all, pile number 3, because it is taking you where you want to go in terms of what you really want, in terms of the intentions that you're setting for yourself. The key for you is, yes, trusting that everything will be well, but also filtering what you allow yourself to think about, receive, talk about, hear other people's opinions, and turning away from in that 5 of Cups energy, the fear of being disappointed and the harping on what in the past has not worked. Like, this is literally your voyage going forward and reconciling what happened. The past is the past. Getting it out of your system, releasing it so that you can trust that all will be well. And that is an act of sacred reverence. It's sacred reverence for the voyage and the journey of life. Remember, we always say, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And that is something that you are undergoing right now. And it is requiring patience, clearly. But it's also developing. It's also in this, because otherwise we wouldn't see this movement of the voyage. It is underway, pile number 3. It is developing. It is becoming. It is being recalibrated. Like, things are in motion and being balanced out for you. You have fulfillment, attainment, accomplishment, content, peace of mind, enjoyment, nostalgia, and pleasant memories. Using, to the extent that you're revamping what has happened, using those things, like being deliberate and intentional, that new moon energy that you got, being deliberate and intentional about focusing and training your mind on the things that put you more in alignment with that 9 of Cups, what you really desire. Like memories of when things went right. Memories of when you were happy. Memories of when you felt you had greater influence, manifestation, talking about that with new moon intentions as well, right? When you had more pizzazz, more mojo in being able to get what you wanted. Like, that's fulfillment. And these two are so directly related. We even, 9 of Cups is a card of wish fulfillment or feeling fulfilled. That's what's coming at you. That's literally what's coming at you. And it's a matter of you releasing, reconciling with what you really want. If you have gotten off track, if you went through a phase of I'm going to, set my intentions. I'm going to manifest. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do this workshop. I'm going to, try this new exercise, try this new routine, da 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 da. And then doesn't materialize. Five of Cups, disappointment. It doesn't materialize. And so you get distracted. Five of Swords. I don't know, maybe so. Ooh, look what I just looked down and saw for y'all. Gossip. Influence. Five of Swords. Listening and being caught up in a lot of stuff. I get it. We all do it at some point in time, and then hopefully we check ourselves and we get it together. But that's been a distraction, and it has not. And so for some of you, especially with Libra qualities, the thing with Libra is it's such a beautifully loving sign. It is ruled by Venus, as many of you know, but it can, in service of equanimity, in service of fairness, in service of wanting everybody to be win-win, happy, it can get a little indecisive and a little lost in other people's opinions, other people's influence, other people's say so. So that is cautionary. That's something you're flipping the script on. And you have your fruits of your labor. It's time to reap the fruits of your labor and become rich. Rich gain is here. Now, money. We will always claim that. But also, pile number 3, the richness that I see here represented for you goes back to this fulfillment, this life fulfillment, life purpose, life enjoyment, life mission. That's a lot of the fruits of your labor. The labor of making this voyage that you've been making. And I just look from an oracle perspective. Look, you've got justice again. What are the odds? You've got justice again. That happened for pile number 2 with the moon card. They got a moon in tarot, and then they got the moon also in an oracle card. Spirit speaking this loudly, I implore you, pile number 3, think about your relationships and how you have been influenced by others. Whether it is in your intimate relationships, your working relationships, your spiritual relationships, all of it, because it is just no accident that has come for you twice. And notice that in this justice, it comes in the sign of Virgo. Healing, right? Virgo is very often connected to healing, connected to that compass in the mind, the discipline, the analysis, the sticking with it, the persistence. This is the promise that Spirit is making to you, that the wishes that you want and need. Oh, here goes my air conditioner. I started out the tape with noise from my washing machine, and here we go with the air conditioner. Let me get rid of that real quick. Okay. All right. So that's the justice, is you are being urged to move ahead, right? Follow your compass, follow the promptings of Spirit with that wailing tree, like reconciling what, to the extent that you are absorbing information, influence. You've been through some things that are not getting you there. And so you've got to exercise some patience and have sacred reverence for yourself and this voyage, this journey that you're taking to rebalance, to really understanding what brings you fulfillment. Because remember too, this brought back memories. This was not just going forward and manifesting on a going forward basis. This is about remembering what really brings me joy. What kind of people do I really enjoy being around? What kind of work do I really enjoy doing? What is it that I've always thought about, maybe pursuing, and then one way or another it didn't come through. That's the influence. Some of you may have been over reliant on teachers, on spiritualists, on bosses, on husbands, wives, lovers, to activate and bring to fruition the things that you want in your life. But there's a lot of work that you've done in the midst. Whether or not that turned out, the fruits of your labor are what are ready to manifest right now. Like literally. And it's really just a matter of you continuing on your journey, patience, and sacred reverence for the process of the journey, for the process of you reaping your harvest. And that's where you get to fulfillment. That's where you see, this is really what makes me happy. And notice your gemstone, your last card, is just a gemstone that will help you, is the lodestone. And it says magnetism, direction, and love. Direction and love. That's the direction you're going in. Self-love, that's your voyage. Direction, voyage. Lodestone. Please, if you don't have some, think about it, look it up. If you're not familiar with it, attraction, bringing it in and attracting. Intention, a new moon intention, attracting. Maybe using between now and the next new moon. Do some research if you're not familiar with lodestone. Get you some lodestone and be prepared to work with it at the next new moon and beyond. Because there is trust that all will be well. There is so much flowing, the waters of creativity and sensuality. There's so much that's available to you, pile number 3. And you just got to decide who and what you really want to listen to, including yourself, including the tapes that are playing in your head. You know, we all do it. That's the key. Balance, justice, twice. All right, think about that. Lots of good things headed your way. All righty. All right, I'm going to put this aside now and show you all the decks that I used. Again, this is for those of you who read and collect decks, etc. Let's get to that part. All right. So I used the Crystal Oracle, the Oracle of the Universe, Money Moves Oracle deck, Oracle of the 7 Energies, the Moonology Manifestation cards, the Shaman's Dream Oracle, the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. This is where the Catalyst cards came from. The Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I wanted to get some sun in there since we were dealing with so much fire energy. And talking about the sun as well, one of your tarot decks was the Radiant Wilds Tarot. Radiant Wilds Tarot. We used the Law of Positivism. Easy to say. The Law of Positivism Oracle deck. The Soul Coaching deck. Soul Coaching. The Time Travelers Oracle. The Answer Oracle. The Eclipse Oracle. Let's see, the front of the box is just dark, but it says on the side there. The Eclipse Oracle. The Cosmic Magic Oracle. And finally, the Mystic Mondays Tarot. All right? All right, everybody. I hope these readings were helpful. I hope you get some time to just go over it, take some notes, see what Spirit speaks to you with it, and I will see you again real soon. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.